for example, I like to experiment a lot with new picks, and now I feel like I have to like really think about, hey, when do I want to like pull out this new champion? Because is he gonna ruin the practice? I have like 15 games of scrims. Like I need to utilize those scrims like efficiently.
This is Azento from Esports Heaven, and I have here with me Xerxe from Immortals, victorious against CLG, and what was a pretty convincing win, I would say. But yo, your support was actually nutty this game, right? Like you just kept landing hook after hook, right? Like I guess this
Yeah.
is why you don't give Destiny Thresh, huh?
I mean, that's why you cannot give Destiny trash, you cannot give him Mortals, you cannot give him Blitz. He's just like too good on this hook champions.
So, speaking of, I guess, your team and maybe the champions that were picked this game, Viego is something that's kind of been hot on the market, and it was top lane, but Revenge kind of had a tough time this game. But I noticed that you went to go help him catch a lot of the waves sometimes to help him catch up on experience a little bit. And, you know, your bot lane was dominating the entire time, so you really didn't have to go down there to patch that up. But I guess, what are your thoughts about, you know, the old adage? I don't know if they have this over in EU, but in North America, the old adage is never gank a losing lane. And so you were up there quite a bit, but is this whole adage, I guess, only for solo queue? Does it not really apply to pro play?
It really depends on the scenario. I mean, in this game, I was fortunate enough. We were fortunate enough that our bowler was absolutely smurfing. So we had like the option to either like keep snowballing that winning lane already and let our top lane just completely be out of the game, or like try to stabilize the game because like
Hmm.
um, so in this scenario, like we saw that they were stacking a huge wave, and I just knew that I had to help Revenge cash those. It was like 2 or 3 wave stacks. So if he was to lose those stacks, I think he was already like really screwed from what happened at
Mm-hmm.
level 3. And if we let that happen, the tower dive. If we let that happen, then he would be completely out of the game. So we we couldn't let that happen.
Hmm. So talk to me about this current meta, I guess, because people are saying, you know, we're moving away from the full clear meta in the jungle to where now you can kind of gank a little bit more. What are your thoughts, I guess, in general about the XP changes in the jungle?
Uh, I I think the changes for the jungle have been pretty good actually because right now, yeah, it still kind of is full clear meta, but I feel like you can somehow you can gank a lot more than you could before, and right now you also like don't get you have more freedom. You don't feel like this pressure. Oh my god, my camps are spawning in 2 minutes. I need to be like there on time. I need to like full clear the cycle again every like, and just like full clean to reset into full clean to reset. And
Mm-hmm.
now you just have more freedom to actually play play the League of Legends and not just play PvE.
Mm. So with this in mind, and you kind of have more decisions to make, I guess, more freedom. Do you think this is gonna kind of expose bad junglers?
Um, I'm not sure because I don't feel like I feel like jungle is a team effort. So I mean, even if it's just, I feel like you need to put a lot of effort as a team to make your lane, like to make your own lane
Mm.
gankable for the jungler. So yeah, if you're a good jungler, you can probably do stuff. If your laners are bad, but for me, like jungle is a team effort.
Mm, okay. So speaking of teams, you guys are doing really well, man. You did 3-0 this weekend, like popping off. I mean, Immortals is looking really good, and that's kind of crazy to say. Like no BM, but it's kind of crazy to
No
say.
offense taken, it's totally understandable. I mean, no one expected it. I mean, at the beginning of the year, we were rated as 10th place, 9th place. So I understand where people are coming from, why people are like surprised with this, and
So
that's why it's like more exciting for me to prove everyone wrong that we are actually pretty good.
yeah, I mean, like what do you think has changed for your team in terms of, I don't know, maybe playstyles meshing together? I know like Revenge and Insanity are known as like these solo queue players, right? Like they're really high rank on the ladder and whatnot. So maybe their playstyle doesn't mesh. Like do you think it's more in tune because the meta has changed, so that has helped you guys a lot? Like what do you think really is the magic piece of the puzzle that's helped you guys?
But I said basically that in Spring Split we didn't really have time. So it was the lock-in tournament, right, before the split actually started, in which basically it was only Revenge and Insanity who played, and the academy players. So we don't really like practice. We barely practice. We didn't have time to practice for Spring Split, and Spring Split just kind of like started with no boot camp really. We didn't have
Mm,
time because of visa issues and such. Uh, so I think that's why like I think for like the amount of practice we got in spring or like before spring, the results we had in spring were surprisingly good. And now we started practicing sooner for summer because guys we didn't have time in spring, so we just need to like recover some of the time we've lost. And it actually it really shows that we spent a lot of time like being together, like knowing each other like outside the game, like, and just becoming friends. And I think that that just translates into trusting each other more on the Rift.
yeah. Speaking of that, and I guess getting more scrim time and whatnot, you're kind of an old school player, and so you remember the days of only having 2 days of actual, live games, live matches, but that now is cutting into the whole scrim time because now we're having 3 days of actual official games, which I think would probably cut into the scrim time that you're able to do, but also maybe the preparation that you have for 3 different teams, which is an insane amount, especially coming from a jungler. Maybe you have to be able to adapt more in terms of the champions that you play, or even the jungle paths that you do, so that they're a little bit more unpredictable and you don't fall into the same pattern. So, talk to me a little bit about that, about playing against 3 different teams during 3 different days.
So for me personally, it comes with pros and cons. And I'll start with the cons. Basically, like you said, there are 3 teams that you need to prep for. You need to, and as a jungler, I need to like study my opponent to see how he's fighting, to see how the laners are playing and such. And also on a team level, we need to do 3 different drafts. Like you need to do more research for 3 opponents instead of 2. So I would say this, and yeah, of course, 3 days of stage days means that you have less scrim time, so less
Mm-hmm.
practice in a way. So the 3 days, most teams have like 3 days of scrims
Mm-hmm.
and 1 day off. So like those 3 days of scrims, the teams have to utilize really well to actually get something of it. Because if you like try something new for 1 day, let's say you wanna like practice new stuff, that leaves you at 2 days of like practice that you need to like
Oh.
give your 100% and like play like play as you would play on stage, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
have less room to improvise, to like try new stuff. So like you have
Experiment,
to,
yeah.
yeah, you need to give like your 100% in games. Um, so I think that can be a bit difficult for some teams, for some players. Like for example, I like to experiment a lot with new picks, and now I feel like I have to like really think about, hey, when do I want to like pull out this new champion? Because is he gonna ruin the practice? I have like 15 games of schemes. Like I need to utilize those schemes like efficiently.
Hmm.
So these are the cons I was saying, but the process that I personally love being on stage, and I haven't played on the stage in over a year, so I'm just so happy to be on stage because I feel like I'm able to focus much better than I was playing from home, from the office. It just doesn't feel right, and it
Yeah.
still doesn't feel right that we don't have the fans. But it's still much better to play on stage. So for me, like that's a big deal.
All right. Well, don't experiment too much on stage because you guys are 3-0. Don't break the spell that you
Yeah.
got going on right
Uh,
now.
there
well,
might. I think I'll have to experiment on stage at some point.
well, I'm looking forward to it at least next week. Keep the win streak going, and yeah, you guys are really kicking ass. So I'm excited to see that. This has been Azento from Esports Heaven and Xerxe from Immortals. Thank you very much for your time.
Likewise.